Hey guys, good evening to all of you. So let me come to your chat and let's see what are you doing. Okay. Awesome. So great. So now I'm at your chat, guys. So how are you doing, guys? Okay. And how was the weekends? Hi Swapnil. How are you doing? Hi Ganesh. Hello Pandya. Hi Pranav. Fine, awesome. Great. I guess let's wait for a minute or two. So more people will join in and we'll get started. Okay. So, like, there was some discussion between us. Should we do Instagram or should we do Facebook? Since we have advertised it with the name of Facebook, so let's try to make a UI of Facebook only instead of Insta. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I think it's 10:01. In 10:05, we'll get started with the code. Till then, if you have something to ask or something, let me know. No questions? That's really great. Okay. Hello, Shubham. How are you? I guess since you guys have no questions, let me prepare the setup. Okay. Hi, Bala. Okay, let me move the chat to the right side and let me move my video to the left side. I think you'll get a link in the group. Okay? In case if I've not got it, you'll get it in the chat. Okay. So yes, it will be given to you. Okay, so now let me share my screen. Any mini project idea for cardiac or full stack? Yeah, a lot. Okay. So see, in case if you're sort of ideas, and if you're not thinking of making something too innovative, the best thing is like you can always go for a clone of some good website or something. Yeah, Vijay, I've received it. Now you are able to see my screen, I guess. Let me know in case if you can see my screen. So Visual Code Studio, let me bring it here. Yes, awesome. So we have done the basics of React, right? Today, I'll give you a little idea about what they say, React states. Okay, so that I didn't get your question, Vijay. So I think where were we working, which folder? It doesn't matter. Let's create a new folder. Let's give it a name. How to get a job in FANG from the bottom tier 3 college. I think I have talked about this in very much detail in one other video, in one of the tutorial series, in which I explain how should you prepare data structures and problem. I guess you can follow that. But it will take a really 20 to 30 minutes to explain the complete process, how you should prepare. That's the main reason. Okay, so let's call it. Okay. Let's try to figure out the concept of state and props. Okay. Because we'll be using it mostly state props anyway. You can do it in the on the way also, not a problem. But you need to get a little idea about state so that we'll be basically using it throughout our application. So whenever I use the term state, what do we mean by it? Okay, it has no relation with any of the states in India or any state outside. State basically means state of an application. Like let's suppose you are going to play a game. Okay. So in simple, a game will have three states. Three state. What are the state? State one, when you are like when you have entered the application but you have not started playing the game. Like state number two, when you are playing the game. State number three, when you have ended the game. So basically, you can say three situations of the game, right? We can call it like state one, state two, state three. FB clone. Okay. So what will we do? Of course, we have to create a React application first. Terminal, new terminal. Create tab. Let's give it a name. The name is already there, so you can just put a dot and let it be. It will take a minute or two. It will take a minute maybe. By the way, any views? Like I'm very like actively following like what do you say, Russia and Ukraine conflict. Any of your comments, guys, on that? Come on, let me know your inputs. What do you think? What will happen? Yes, yes. That's hello world is for a different purpose. This is for a different purpose. Sometimes it takes a little time, but it's usually faster. Ukraine wants peace. Whom are you supporting, guys? Russia or Ukraine? This app is to give you the idea of the state concept intellect. Okay. Hmm. Okay. We know war. Okay, awesome. Anyway, let's come back to our project. Whether there is war or not, React will be there. Anyway, so now see, React application heavily depends on something called use. I need to say hooks. Okay, so I'll give you an idea of like about this. You no doubt. Okay, so we'll study about first hook that is called use state, and there are some more hooks. But once you have an understanding of one hook, later other hooks we can go along in the project, and you will basically learn it. Okay. So of course they are source. Okay, so I'll delete those, like, right, like we did it last time. Delete. And in this place we will be creating index.js. Okay, so I'll be writing little fast because I guess you know already, right? So what do we need to import? 1 second, guys. Something weird happened. Imported the React now. Of course, so now you will have a new file called app.js. In which you will import okay. So basically what I'm doing for now, just write something till we start our application. Okay, now import it here. Okay. And finally, not render. What do you have to render? Of course, the app. And the second parameter. I'm I'm not explaining you because I guess you already noticed it from the last class. Document dot get element by ID. Perfect. Awesome. Let's start the application. Your goals. Awesome. Now let's continue. So what I want to, I want to bring hooks here. Okay. In general, hooks helps you to manage a lot of things, but currently we're talking about you how to manage state. Okay, so we'll talk about use state. So how to import use state with this symbol. Now I think you know why I'm using curly braces, because it must be of name import, right? So we are using it inside the curly braces. Awesome. Now see if so what does use state helps you? Like I told you, what is the meaning of state? Okay, so use state helps you to maintain state. In simple, like let's suppose if you have a variable, if you are changing that variable, never change it directly in React. Always take the help of use state. If you want to use that variable throughout different stages, let's always remember it. Like let's suppose you have something called score. Okay. Okay. So what I want, my score will keep updating before playing the game. There will be some score. During the game, some score will increase, and the end we'll have some other score, right? Technically, score is getting updated at different, like what do you say, state of application. So in this case, don't update it directly. Like if it's a normal coding, how will you update it? Score is equal to 10. Score is equal to score plus 1. Score plus 2. Yes, you can do that in React, but that can create you some issues. Okay. So how to do that? The idea is very simple. Take the variable and then take a like predefined function, but it should have like what do you say? You should follow a naming convention. You should always write it like that. First word will be set, and then the score, no? So that first word will be captured. Set score. As simple as that. Okay. So this is a function which is predefined. You don't have to define it. Only have to give a name in a proper order. If your variable name is score, this function name will be set score. S is capital. Like let's suppose if your name is kite, name will be set kite. K is capital. If your name is hello world, okay, this will be set hello world. Okay. Is equals to now. What basically I want to do, with the help of use state, of course, you can give a default value to, let's suppose initially I'll give 0. So my score will get started from 0 in simple words. Now what will I do? I will have, let's suppose, let's make a div here. Okay. Inside the div, let's suppose we have few buttons. Let's call it increment. This button will help you to get the value will get increased, right? So for the increment button, similarly, we have a decrement and then reset. And reset. The point is to know how to use state. Okay. Okay. So now what will happen? So now if you see the screen, okay. So we have made some changes here. This changes is not reflecting here. Yes, it's reflecting increment, decrement, and reset. Okay. So now what will I do? I also want to have the value of score. What is the current value of my score? Right. Okay. So what you can basically do? Okay. So now you know this is not HTML, this is JSX, right? Okay. So now let's suppose I want the value of a score at a certain time. Okay. So what you can do? Like let's suppose you have a paragraph. Score is, in case in JSX, if you want certain values, like not to directly use something, but want to have the value of that thing, okay, then use it in the curly braces, like a score. So it will give you the value of the score in simple words. Okay. Score is 0. So now when I click on increment, this score should basically get increased. When I click on decrement, it should decrease. When I reset, of course, it should reset back to 0. Okay. Initially, I'll start the value with -1. Doesn't matter. Let's see. So its score is -1, right? Awesome. So now basically what I want to do, when I click on this button increment, I basically want to increase the value of score by 1. So you guys know from JavaScript that button will have an on-click property, right? So button has an on-click property. In this, what will I do? Like I will just check, right, this value. So basically inside this, I'll implement a callback. Okay. So in the callback, basically what I'm trying to do, I'm calling this set score. Set score, okay, and increasing it by 1. So how is this basically function defined? This function is defined with score as a parameter. So whatever value you pass, it will get added to your score. Like see, if I click on increment, you can see the value is basically getting increased, right? Similarly, can you guys try to send me the answer for decrement? How will it get decreased? I want the answer in the chat. When I click on decrement, the value should decrease by 1. Give it a try. Come on. Yep. Score -1, score -1, of course. I just wanted you to write the full thing so that you will have a practice. Okay. But you are using the shortcut method, okay. Nemesis game, awesome. Click score -1. Awesome. Okay. But I can copy paste because I know the thing. You cannot because you are still learning. Okay. And what about the reset, guys? Now quickly write it for the reset. Quickly for the reset part. How will you do the reset part? Awesome, Harsi. Awesome. No need to write a score equal to 0 because score is a parameter and the function score is like a parameter. We just have to pass a value, right? Awesome. Just 0, right? Just 0. Awesome. If anyone has any confusion, do let me know. Okay, things are working. Reset, 0, decrement, increment. What if we use some other initial state? Use it. So it will start from that particular value. Like let's suppose I have 10, right? It will get increment from the 10. Like basically we are adding 1 to the previous value. No? So it doesn't matter where it starts from, right? No, we can reset it to -1. Yes, yes. You can reset it to -1. Whatever you want to reset, totally up to you. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes. Instead of 0, you'll be writing -1. That's all. So when I click on reset, it will go to -1. Okay. Without hard coding the value, that is. I didn't get you. What do you mean by that? You don't want to put -1 here? Means then you can take this value. No? You can store this value in a variable. Okay, pass this value and use that value at this place. Okay. You can anyway do that. Okay. I have a question for you guys. Okay, and this is the question. Why did I use a callback? In this place, you can see I have used a callback. I could have directly called the function here, directly set score -1. Why not that? Why did I use a callback? Okay, I could not find your DSA. Okay, that's great. I have to look through it now. I'll do one thing. What can I do? I have to go through the video. I don't know in which video someone asked the question in which I explained him how to do it. Okay. Or you can ping me on my LinkedIn. Once I find it, I'll ping it to you. I will send you there. Okay. Okay. If we given only score in parentheses, that is my question, Vidya. Okay. Why did I do things like this? Any comments? Any answer? So we can add multiple functions. But the point is, we are adding just one function. I don't need to add multiple functions here. One second question. Question is, see, I could have written this. But I'm not writing this. Instead, what I'm doing, I'm using a callback here. And why is that? You call it after the page. Awesome, sir. Awesome, great. Okay, so guys, what will happen? In simple words, let me explain it to you so you understand like what happens. Okay. So basically, if you directly do it like this, okay, directly write it like this, no problem. There's only one problem. The problem is, now see, think it like this. It's a function and you have written it like this. So what will happen? Function can call itself on its own, okay? So it will not wait for the button to get clicked. It will directly call itself. Like if I reload the page, currently you're getting error also here because it's calling it again and again, and that is the main problem. You are getting re-renders a lot, infinite times. Right? Too many times, too many renders. That means now it is not waiting for your button click to get called. It's calling again and again on its own. Okay, and that's a big problem. Okay, so basically you should do something like this. Use a callback here. If this is not clear, I can explain you more. That's not a problem. Like see, because this will haunt you a lot. I will no, not because of on click. I'll tell you. Okay, so what I'll do, let me create a function. Or let me create a simple thing. What is it? Okay. I just got electricity short. Anyway, okay. So basically, I think you know the difference between a function and a callback, right? What is the main idea of a function? The main idea of a function is like ABC is there. Okay, no problem. The main idea of a function is you can call function on its own, right? If you follow this particular syntax. Now, what is a callback? Callback, technically you can call it is it's a no-name function, means a function without a name. Function like this. So now since this function has no name, you cannot call it. Okay, in simple words. So basically I wrote in a different way there. No? So basically that was the arrow of what is it? Arrow function style. So you remove the word function and you put an arrow here. This is the way I wrote it, right? Awesome. So now see, whenever you use this syntax, okay, like see, function is there. Okay, now let's suppose the function is xyz, or function is like whatever a function. Let's leave it here. You have some function, let's suppose display. Okay, this is the function. Okay, you have one more function. Let's call it. What this function do? This function does nothing. This function just console.log do hello world. Okay. So now I'm passing this from these parameter, okay, here in this part. Okay, let's suppose it needs a parameter. So you can say it. Okay, so what will happen now when you pass display? In display, you are passing hello. Okay, so inside the display, I'm passing hello. So this hello. This hello will be received here in here. Okay, so now if you call here inside it, okay, so what will happen? Okay, this hello world will be called because hello you have passed it here. So now if you run this, what will you get? You got hello world. Okay, it's a little confusing. But at this point currently I'm explaining. I will come to that. Don't worry. Okay, let me sort out the things one by one. So don't worry about that. It will be sorted out. So first, try to just understand what I'm telling you. So now next, let's go for a next function. Okay, this function is, let's give it a name like hello. Okay, I've changed the function a little. So this function accepts a parameter, let's suppose your name, and this is what it will say. Console.log hello. So I'm giving a little space also. So hello Abhishek or whoever name is there. So if you call this function independently, hello name, how it will be called? Hello name, and you'll pass a name here, right? So it will say hello Abhishek, right? Hello Abhishek. Perfect. Scroll up. Right? Can you see it? Right? But now that there is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is now if I want this particular function, see this particular function. Okay, this particular function need to be sent here. Like earlier, they sending hello, that was not a problem. But now what will happen? Hello name need to be sent. Here, display hello name. Right? This we want to send. But the problem is hello name has a parameter. Like let's suppose, like what is it? It has a parameter. So whenever you want to use this function, or whenever you are calling this function, it will always have some parameter, right? Otherwise, like see, what will happen? So this is your display. Now I'm removing this part. Okay. Inside the display, so what I'm giving it a static name. Let's suppose sample. So if nothing is passed, this sample will be called. Okay. Okay. So now since you are passing it here, you should also give it a parameter. No? So you'll say, okay, no problem, I'll give Abhishek as a parameter. So now what will happen? See, there is a problem. K is not a function because there is some problem here. Whenever you are writing like this, so what basically is happening? It is getting printed here only, it is not getting passed, right? In case if you did not understand it, I have a better example to explain you. Let me explain it like this. So if you understood it, let me know. If still there is a problem, I have one more example which will make it more clear. Let me know. So what I want to do is I want to have an HTML file here. Okay, I guess you did not understand it. No problem. Check this out. You will understand it now. Okay. What I'm trying to do, let's suppose you have a button. So basically what I want to do, whenever you click on this button, some text basically instead of this hello, what will happen? Something will appear on the button if the button is clicked, in simple words. Okay. Step number 2, I'll write the JavaScript code here. Okay. When you are writing the JavaScript code, what basically you can do? So I will access that first. You know how to access an element from like HTML experiment from JavaScript, right? So let's call it BTN. Dot query selector button. So basically, I'm accessing this button in simple words. If you want to check it out, check it here. Right click, inspect. So if you write BTN, basically, you'll get this button, right? Simple, right? So what I want to do, see, now on this button, I'll be applying something. So this will clearly make you understand the things. BTN dot add event listener. What does add event listener does? Add event listener basically listens out any events that happens on this particular element. Okay, let's suppose I here for click event. I think in case if you're not understanding this also, then I think you need to go through your JavaScript basics. Okay, so because that part I'm not covering it in React. Okay, the assumption is like you should know these things like query selector and all. Button dot add event listener. This is a click properties, and inside the click means when there is a click, you can basically call a function. Let's suppose you want to call this function. I will have a, let's suppose, a paragraph for this button only, no problem. Let's call display. Okay. Now you'll have a function. Display. In the display, what will I do? We'll do a very small thing. We will just change the text of this button, right? So btn dot inner text or inner HTML, same thing, and we will change it to click. Okay, as simple as that. So basically, what will happen in case if you have not understood this code very well, and in case if you don't know this part, I'll explain you quickly. So basically, the HTML I made a button. Now, a script basically means you're writing a JavaScript code. Here, first from the JavaScript, you have to get the access of, like you have to access that element in HTML. So this is the way you access it with the help of document, with the help of query selector. Okay. Now the next thing is I'm applying add event listener. What is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is if there is any event on the button, and you have mentioned a name, click event. So if there is a click event, it will call this function display, in simple words. Now, if you click on it, basically what will happen? It is changing to getting clicked, right? Because I have changed it here. So now what will happen? See, translates hello. Now I am putting this. Okay. Now you will see. I have not clicked, but it's already turned click. Why? The reason is whenever something is expecting you to, whenever you pass a thing in argument, whenever you pass a function in a argument, okay, and if you use these braces, okay, so what will happen? The thing that will happen is now this function is self-sufficient to call itself. So it will not wait for anything else to occur. It will run at its own pace, and that's the problem. Okay, so there are two ways to avoid it. One way, you can avoid it like this. You don't put a bracket. Okay, add event listener or anyone who is calling it will take care for this function, will trigger it on its own. And then when you click on it, this will happen. But sometimes it's not an option. Like let's suppose if there is a parameter here, like name. So clicked by plus click by name. Okay. Okay. So now if this is a parameter, then of course you have to pass a name from here when you are calling it, right? And now that will be a problem because now this function is self-sufficient to call itself. Like let's suppose you pass something like away. So now this is it is self-sufficient to call itself. So what will happen? So it is called, now there is a click written there, right? Click by Abhi. Even if I'm not clicked it, like see, let me reload it. Even I'm reloading it, I have not clicked it, it's again clicked by Abhi. That's a problem. Okay. So in this case, what you can use, you can always use a callback. What is the purpose of a callback? So callback is a no-name function, right? Technically. So no-name function cannot be called on its own because it does not have a name. So it can only be triggered by some particular events or some particular function. This will force the, like what is it? No-name function to get called, or here no-name function, whenever it is used in a parameter, it is basically called callback. So it will trigger the callback, and then what will happen? This callback will get implemented, and then this function will get called. Okay, then now this will be working. Okay. Was it understandable? If no, then we'll do something. Okay, and what part you did not understand? Like, was it the JavaScript part or that particular part? That also matters now. Okay, so let me know accordingly. Come on, guys. Nice. Okay. You please. What about others? Understood? Awesome. Okay. Now I have a small thing for you guys. What I want, in case if I've understood it, I have a small task for you in this part. Okay, so I want you to change this on click in first one and second one such that, okay, the highest value. Okay, let me start it from, it is -1, and let me make it 0. Let me also make it 0. Okay, so now when you click on it, the values are increasing, right? But I want 10 to be the maximum value. The value should not go higher than 10. In decrement, I want you guys to decrease the value, but the value should not decrease below 1. 1 should be the minimum value, and reset means it will become 0, no doubt. Awesome. So increment and decrement. This is a part where you have to apply condition. So how will you apply it? Okay. So this is the last part that I'm explaining you before the project. Then we'll get started with the project from the next sessions. Okay, project will actually take around 2 sessions to get completed. Okay, or it may take 3, but it will at least take 2 sessions. Awesome, Pushottam. Awesome. On click, if score, return set score. Awesome, Herschel. Totally correct. Set score is to 10. Else, okay. I don't think we use if else like this here. So basically go for ternary using the if else condition. Yep, you can. The best idea is use a ternary, right? It's much shorter and quicker, right? Awesome. Okay, give more people can give it a try. I'll give you 1 more minute. Okay. Hmm. Give this. So let's try to implement it now. One by one. So now see, at this particular place, what I basically want to do. Okay, in this, basically, what you will be doing, you want to increase the value, right? I mean to say, you want to increase the value of score, okay, till like means not more than 10. So can I write some condition like this? The score is less than equals to 9 till this point. If this is the part, okay, I'll say great. Till this point is there, I can say use a ternary. And here, what you can do, if this condition is true, that means increase the value. So score plus 1. Else, what will we do? Else, we will keep it something like empty. Whatever you write doesn't matter because this part is not contributing to the UI, right? Score is only the one that is present in the UI. Okay, so whatever you write here doesn't matter, right? So there is some problem. One second. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's all. It's not going higher, right? Similarly, you can do it for minus and 0 is up. Same way, you can write a condition. I just have one question for all of you. Okay. Return. Okay, now you cannot write a return there, Manali. The reason is there is already a return here. No? Right? So basically, you keep it empty now. The reason is whatever you write here, whatever I write here doesn't make a sense. The reason is whatever changes I'm doing here, this part is contributing to my UI because score is here. Score is present in the UI part, right? Whatever you write here, this part is not contributing to your UI, right? No problem, whatever you write there. Even if it is 10, it will not produce that message, right? So you can leave it empty. Right? I just have one question from you guys here. I did some change, but you guys did not notice it. Earlier, you see, after this, what is this doing? Is it? No. In ternary operator, and ternary operator has two parts. I think, Shaha, are you from the Python background? Because the way you wrote the code. Am I right? Is it Python? So I think Python has also recently launched ternary operator. Yep, right. Yep. I understood you by if else style. Okay, so basically, this is a syntax for a ternary operator. Okay, means if this condition is true, okay, this is a true block, and this is a false block. If the condition is false, it will come here. If the condition is true, it will come here. Let's check out the syntax of ternary operator. I think in the latest Python update, ternary operator has been added. Okay. One question to all of you guys. Earlier, if you see, this curly braces were added, right? Okay. So if I add this curly braces, okay. So let me add this curly braces. Okay. So the first curly braces is of this, and the second curly braces of this. So now this is giving me an error, and I basically want to understand what. Okay. Any answers? You got my question. First, is my question clear to all of you? I've given it a curly braces. Now this is giving me an error, right? Why? Any answers? So if possible, guys, just before the start of project, like tomorrow, I want you guys, if you can go through the basic ES6 functions, it will take you an hour or two to just go through it, okay? So but just have a basic idea of it, okay? So you will be much like, you'll understand each and everything that I write in the code. Otherwise, there will be some things which will keep haunting you again and again. Like these small things, it looks quite small, but sometimes if I use this, while you are writing it, you will not basically understand, right? What is the main problem? Jayalakshmi, thanks. And why is that thanks for? Okay. So your task is, anyway, I'll explain it to you, but not today. In the next session, I want you to go through this. We need to call a function in a curly bracket. But why is that? The reason is like, I did that. That should not be the reason. No? But look, when should I use the curly braces and when I should not? That's the main question. Okay. Anyway, the point is go through the basic ES6. Just search on Google basic ES6 function. Basic, I mean, sorry, not basic. The ES6 in JavaScript. Okay, just go through it once, and you'll get these all answers. In case if it is left, anyway, I'll explain it to you in the project. Okay, why I want to tell you, because these small things is not so big things. Once you study through it, it will hardly take you an hour or two. If you know any programming language, you basically understand it. Okay, the basics of it. And then of course, in the project, you will be in a more comfortable position, understanding each and everything. Like most of you even did not noted this, right? So these all things will be noted. You will note it automatically, right? Okay, guys. So go through this, and then let's catch up tomorrow with the starting up on a Facebook project. Okay.